The covenant is a key factor to surviving in the midst of the storm. I don't care what has befallen others. I don't care what is befalling others. But any man that exists in the existential realm of the covenant will never see destruction. The covenant is key to preservation. There are certain things that can happen to us because we are in a covenant relationship with God. Now, in a covenant relationship with God, it begins with surrendering to Jesus. But that's not all. When you've given your life to Jesus, you must now begin the process of renewing your mind. How? You know, when you give birth to a child today, and that child doesn't get educated, even in the next 50 years, the child won't know how to read. Likewise also, when someone is born again, and that person does not understand spiritual things, that person has not come to a point that he takes on the tool of the principles of God's word to educate the human spirit, that man becomes a spiritual illiterate. So it begins with surrendering to Jesus, but there are also other things the believer must do, such as renewing your mind through his word, educating your human spirit, building capacity in the place of prayer. There are myriads of what? A couple of things that the believer, varying things that the believer needs to do. So how can a man survive the storm? The covenant. The covenant. The covenant. Have you taken time to see that if you read through the scriptures, God started giving Noah an instruction of the animal to take into the ark in Genesis chapter 6. But he mentioned limited animals. And then in Genesis 7, in Genesis 6, he told him to take all the creeping things that moved upon the earth. In Genesis 7, he also gave him the same instruction and told him to take all the birds of the air. But he never told him to take the fish. There was not one animal of the water that God gave Noah instruction to take. Do you know why? What destroys others is their natural habitat. Now I say this to you. Anything that destroys others is an advantage to the covenant people. Anything that destroys others, it's an advantage.